Welcome to my channel, shavers and shavettes. I hope you're all well. Today I have probably the fanciest shave of all of my YouTube videos. We will get into all the reasons why I picked out my most fanciest gear. First off is the Thader brush. This one I believe was silver tip when I bought it. Bought it quite a long time ago. There was a little controversy over Thader. They were getting the hooked tips on their brushes, which at the time was seen to be a very bad thing. So I actually got that for a really good discount. My fancy soap for today is So Fancy. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Martin de Candre? It's Marty de Candre here. That's it. Anyway, this is the rose version. Not the biggest fan of the rose scent. It's not bad by any means. Very mild, but it is a very nice soap. And I think one of the fanciest razors of all, this D1 Gillette Toggle. Now, just like we talked about with the Fatboy, the Toggle is a nickname that collectors have given it more recently. At the time that it was sold, and it only sold between 1955 and 1960, it was simply called the Gillette Adjustable. Yeah, they weren't very creative at the time, I guess. But this Gillette Adjustable was different, of course, as you just saw. Instead of a twist to open to insert and remove the blade, it's got the little switch, or as it got its name, the little toggle at the bottom that you flip to open and close. I didn't find very many images of advertisements, which was disappointing to me. I really wanted to see how they advertised this, if it was something big and revolutionary at the time, or if they just kind of slid it in under the cracks. And yeah, they just kind of slid it in. There are a couple of ads that I'll show. First from Esquire magazine in 1957, advertising the Gillette Adjustable at $10. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But then this one I found very interesting, from Australia. It's Australian Women's Weekly from 1959. The Toggle was the first adjustable to make its way to Australia. So shout out to all my Australian fans. I forget what Dave from EEV blog says after that, but imagine I'm saying something wonderful like he says, and we'll just move on. So $10. That doesn't sound like very much today, especially with some of the prices that they go to. The market obviously fluctuates, and before you comment, no, this one's not for sale. I mean, feel free to still leave a comment. The answer is no, it's not for sale. But with $10, as we saw in the previous Fatboy video, if you watched that one, one of the names that we have for the Fatboy is the 195, and it wasn't just random numbers thrown at a dartboard. The 195 comes from its sale price. $1.95 would get you a Fatboy back when they were being manufactured. So if we take a look at the Toggle coming in at $10, that's just about 5 times more expensive. Yeah, that's quite a bit different. Now, with the date range, only made from 1955 to 1960, from what I understand, from what I was able to find, they had such a narrow date range because the feature that made it unique was also the feature that consumers didn't like at the time, the actual little toggle at the bottom, the switch. People were much more accustomed to a twist to open, and they didn't find the toggle very fun to use, I guess. So Gillette canceled any more toggles at the very end, I believe, of 1960, just due to the demand for a twist to open. So pretty interesting stuff, how the times change. We find this a very desirable razor, well, for many reasons. The gold plate, and there aren't a whole lot of them to be found. But at the time, consumers just weren't interested, apparently. Now, there are a couple of different styles, or a couple of different versions out there that people have found of the Toggle. The one that I'm using here, the gold plate, numbered 1 through 9, is the most common. I guess if it's not a very common razor to begin with, but of the Toggles, it's the most common design. There were also ones that were only numbered 1 through 5. They still had the 9 adjustment settings. Each number, it would click at half a number instead of the full number. So they just kind of changed visibly how it was. The range of adjustment was still the same. And then there are nickel plated, and I think there might have been a rhodium version. I can't remember now if that was directly from Gillette or if that was a little bit of a fad that collectors started doing, getting them replated in rhodium. But I think there's 5 known variations altogether. And yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Tricky razors to come across, but if you do see one at a reasonable price, I like it. I don't see much difference between the actual shave results between the Toggle and a Fatboy, but it is a very fun razor to use. It's different. There aren't a whole lot, and in my case, just like 99% of my collection, I found this all dirty sitting on a junk shop's shelf, $10, and it was mine, so I was pretty pleased with that. So between the brush from Thader, the soap from good old Marty, and this Gillette Toggle, I think this is the fanciest combination of shave gear that I could come up with out of my collection. Not that it's a goal every day to use expensive or fancy items. I'm usually the most happy with my most basic items, but this one was kind of fun to think up, and it makes me wonder, out of your collection, what would you think the most fancy of your gear is? Brush, soap, razor, if you have any other sort of gear that you like to use frequently, aftershaves, pre-shaves, anything like that. And I don't know, for me it was kind of fun to put everything together into one shave. I normally just grab whatever looks interesting that morning to use. I put very little thought into my gear for each shave, but this one was fun to kind of think up and try to decide what I could come up with. And I don't know, maybe I'll do some more kind of theme shaves like that. I don't know what other kind of themes I can think of. Maybe my least fancy gear. Yeah, but if you have any ideas, let me know for a themed shave. This one was fun to look through all of my collection and decide what would be the fanciest. So shifting gears a little bit away from the shave, we'll talk about just kind of you guys for a moment. I just wanted to say thank you again. I know I mention it at the end of every video, and just in case you don't normally watch to the end, I thought I'd thank everybody right here. I don't generally pay very close attention to my subscriber count or to my number of views or time of views, anything like that, but took a look the other day and ended up seeing a lot more subscribers than I would have thought I had, so I wanted to thank everybody for that. I haven't seen very many notifications recently, and I think I only get notified of a subscriber if your profile is set to share your subscriptions. I think that might be it. So even though I've just seen a handful of notifications of subscribers, they were a lot more than when I remembered checking last time. So I do want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Even if you're just checking out a video or two here or there, I sure do appreciate that as well. And I was thinking about making some changes to the name of the channel, and nothing is really a serious plan just yet. The name just came about because I wanted to put up a video about the Micromatic. That's the first video from, I think, just over 11 years ago now on the channel. It's still out there. At the time, there weren't a lot of single edge shavers, and of those of us who used single edge, there were very few people who enjoyed the open comb variant of the Micromatic. So I didn't understand why. I thought it was a great razor. I still think it's a great razor. So I just put up a video to kind of explain why I think it's a good razor. And yeah, Mr. Guy's Razor was the first name for the channel that popped into my mind. On the forums, my name has been Mr. Guy on all the forums that I've attended to. I don't frequent the forums very often, just nothing to do with the forums specifically, just kind of web forums aren't necessarily my thing. I get too frustrated trying to use them. But that's beside the point. So if you see some strange channel pop into your feed that you've never seen before, that might be me. Yeah, I don't know. I think I might also run a little bit of a contest around the name change. So might be something to think about. I'll get together a nice little package, and maybe as a community we can come up with a good name for the channel. Or if you like Mr. Guy's Razors, let me know that as well. That's certainly nothing that I have to change. Just something that I thought would be fun. I've been trying to build a little bit of an image for my videos, and I don't know, the name just doesn't seem to fit very well. But when I decide exactly what it is I want to do, I will make sure everybody knows. I don't want to surprise anybody with a strange channel name all of a sudden. Yep, we'll make that official when I decide it needs to be made official. Last thing that I've been thinking about is the music that I play over the voiceover. The YouTube audio library does have all kinds of music to select from. None of it really strikes me as being super great, or at least super fitting for the channel. If you are a musician of any sort and you think it would be fun to get your name out and be exposed to some more people, I'd love for you to leave a comment, let me know. We'll figure out a way that we can put your music and give you credit onto the videos. I think that would be pretty fun to, again, just kind of get what we have as a community, a little more exposure for everybody who might be trying to get noticed or trying to get some exposure there. And if you don't like the music, you can let me know that too. Everything's subject to change. Nothing's written in stone. But yeah, I better make it quick from here on out. I'm finishing up my shave. As always, thank you so much for spending some of your time with me here today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.